Hi, I'm Fred Hayden from Nashua Outdoor Power Equipment. 2 locations, Nashua, New Hampshire and Amherst, New Hampshire on 101A. All right, now we're going to talk about sharpening your chainsaw, either field dressing your saw while you're cutting wood out there or bringing it back to your bench and maybe touching it up, opposed to bringing it to the shop and having it done professionally. Even if you are dressing your chain yourself, I would suggest bringing it to a shop, a sharpening shop, whether it be a full-service dealer like us or a sharpening shop. Probably every, 20, 25 times you sharpen the chain just to get the angles right, because as you're freehanding it, even with one of these fancy tools, you're going to get a different angle on every tooth, and we'll get it back to where it should be so that you can start over again. It'll cut a lot better, cut a lot quicker, it won't twist on you in the wood. These kits right here, they come in various different kits. This one happens to have the file, the guide, a raker gauge, and a flat file for the rakers, but you can get them as simple as a handle and the file. This file is a 7/32. It'll match the 3/8 chain that we discussed earlier, stated on the bar, so it'll match the size of your chain. So as far as when you're sharpening the chain, there are a couple of different angles you have to worry about. You have this angle here, which is going to be the angle of the tooth, which will probably be 25 or 30 degrees. And then you're going to have the angle, this angle, that's going to be another pitch. So there's really 2 angles you have to worry about when you're sharpening the chain. If you're comfortable doing it, you can just follow the angle of the tooth and just run it through and just go down 3 or 4 passes, or until you see that you've taken the damage out of the tooth if you've actually run it into something. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get it sharp. Otherwise, you can snap your file into a gauge like this that'll have, I don't know if you can see that, but it'll have angles on this gauge to help you line up the bar with the file. So it'll keep you straight. Not only that, this surface here will sit on top of the tooth to make sure you don't go too deep. Okay? And then you're going to have to come the other way when you do the other tooth. All right? And I'm not putting a lot of weight into it. You're probably going to put a little more meat into it when you do it. All right? That'll cover the angles. This here, this is a raker gauge. If you can, I don't know if you can get down here tight enough to see the chain, but this chain, or all chain, the tooth, as you get it down lower, actually pitches back. So this here is a raker. It actually guides the tooth through the wood and doesn't let it take too hearty of a bite, so it reduces the kick or the grab on the chain. So this here, as you go down the tooth, this here has to be taken down proportionately. If you take it down too much, the chain's going to get squirrely on you, so one of these little gauges is very handy. So we're just going to lay this over a couple of teeth, and anything that sticks up, we're just going to take off. Okay, and you won't have to do that until, you're probably, I don't know, maybe halfway down the sharpening surface of the tooth. So this here is 25 thousandths, so that's basically telling you how aggressive the chain is going to be. So other than that, we have your tip greaser. If you have a sprocket tip, you might have a laser tip which doesn't have a sprocket in it, but a lot of your saws will have sprocket tips. This here, you're just going to put inside that hole and push on it, okay? And you'll see the grease come out the sprocket. That lubricates that bearing. That lubricates this bearing inside. So the bar oil doesn't always get down there. This here will extend the life of your bar. All right, so we want to always keep a sharp chain. That way you'll extend the life of your bar. This here It's a great tool, but a lot of people will abuse it. When their chain gets dull and it's throwing out dust instead of chips, and you want to get those last few cuts, a lot of people will dive that into the log and use it as leverage. So we'll stick that into the log and then draw the back of the handle up and really grind and burn the bottom of the bars. You don't want to be doing that. These bars can be very expensive. So sharpen your chain when needed. It's also safer to have a sharp chain. So hopefully that gives you some good tips. And check our website, NashvillePower.com, for more tips on other power equipment.